Hello, it's me, Jess. Welcome to my channel. I'm here with another channeled message. This is a specific message. It might resonate with you, it might not. Okay, so I've got somebody coming through here. I feel like this is a masculine energy. Take that however it resonates. This person is feeling really sad. They're feeling really remorseful. They are thinking a lot about the way that things went down between the two of you. This person does want to reconcile, and they're thinking a lot about, or they're like waiting for the right time and the right place. This person is wanting to be in a different energy this time. They're wanting to put in the work. They're wanting to have better communication between the two of you, and they want things to be more equal, because in the past, this person was in, like, I'm hearing the word shade. So I don't know if this person like threw some shaded energy, but I feel like they were hiding. Like, that's such an interesting way of putting it, because I feel like they were in the shade, which is, to me, it's like they were on the periphery. Even though I feel like you were in some way interacting with this person, you could have been sleeping with this person, or maybe the two of you were together, or like it thought that it was kind of shaping up that way. But what this person is saying is that they were kind of holding back the entire time. I just heard play it safe, play it smooth. So this person was trying to play it safe or play it smooth, but they were in some kind of like strategic energy. Now, this person does have a bit of a confession that's coming through here, because for whoever this message is coming through for, what this person is saying is that, first of all, there's a lot of attraction here. I feel like this person is like wildly schmegsually attracted to you, but it is more than that. And I think that you kind of know that. At least now you seem to know that. I think you seem to know that you are this person's wish fulfillment, but that there was like a lot, that there was like a lot of things that were being hidden, or there's like a lot of games being played. But what this person is saying is that for whoever this message is for, I feel like you had just gotten out of a relationship whenever the two of you were like talking or sleeping together or whatever was going on here. I feel like they're telling me that at least they had that impression or that idea that you had just gotten out of a relationship, and it seemed to them like it was like a true love kind of situation, that there was like a lot of love and gentleness and peace and togetherness like between you and like your previous partner, that was like kind of a real deal situation. So this person was kind of like always expecting the other shoe to drop, is what I'm getting. And I feel like for this person, the other shoe to drop was this like guy or this lady from your past, like whoever you were with, because this feels like it was a relationship. There was like love there. They expected them to kind of like barge back in to like to save the day and to wipe away your tears and basically to like kind of come back for you. And they felt like that person was like your favorite, and maybe that you were their favorite. They think that, and maybe they think, even if you were to say like, well, I don't think that they're going to come back, or, I'm completely over. They think that maybe you were naive about that situation, that person was going to want to barge in and get back with you, because it seemed like some kind of Ace of Cups, Two of Cups, peaceful, loving, romantic kind of situation. So this person kind of felt like they couldn't get you to open up, or I'm not saying that it was necessarily tied to your behavior, because I think that you know why you left this situation. And if you said that it was over with and done with, I don't think that you were playing any games in this situation. So I think you know why you left this situation here from your past. And I think that you really did feel a lot for this person that's coming through. I do think that it was in like a fire stage for you and maybe a water stage for them. And it made them feel tipped out of balance, because maybe this person is used to controlling like the situation, the timing of the situation, but it's because they feel a little bit more reserved. But I feel like this person, I feel like it's more like than whatever this person let on, because maybe this person gave you the impression that it was that just, you guys were just sleeping together, or that there was other people or something. I feel like that was actually a strategic move. And I feel like that this person is kind of regretting that now. I just heard relate. They were trying to relate. Oh, so maybe this person thought that you would. Oh, okay. So because you had just gotten out of a relationship, I feel like there needed to be a conversation here, but I don't think that you realized that there did need to be a conversation here, and that this person was having such inner turmoil about your situation and your like emotions and where you exactly were. I think that you liked this person and you were going with the flow and it all felt good to you. But I think that you didn't. So this person was kind of feeling doomed. They were kind of feeling that either this person from your past was going to come back and save the day and wipe away your tears and say, I love you so much. Like, let's not break up, that kind of thing. Or that you had just gotten out of this relationship where there was a lot of love here and maybe you would not want to jump into something else. And maybe you would want to play the field. And so this person was trying to match energy is what they're saying. But I feel like that was all an assumption. They were just assuming what you wanted. They were, I'm kind of getting that. Even though I feel like this person, there was some kind of like, I think they were trying to read the signs. They were trying to read like your signs about like when you were kind of linking up, but that's putting them in this like reactive sort of state. And they were hyper keyed in on you. Like they were very observant. So it's giving like there is a lot of strategy here. And I don't know if you believe this person or not, because I feel like whatever they did, I think that they were sleeping around. I think that they had another somebody else involved. But for some reason, they thought that that was strategic or advantageous for them because they were kind of hoping that this was going to, I get it. Okay, so this person, I think they wanted to like, because for some of you, you were sleeping together, or maybe this person thought that it was just going to start off like that. You guys were just, doing your thing, but that it was going to end up in a relationship. And I think that's what this person kind of thought. And I think they thought like in order to get your attention, they needed to throw down like on that schmegul front because you had somebody already on the love front that was like still in your heart. Even though I think that you broke up with that person, and even though I think that you were being totally legit, like in approaching this person. And I feel like there's a lot of passion here. There's a lot of feelings here. And a lot of that is very schmegul, but the feelings are very deep here. They're also very like, I just heard the word like tumultuous, turmoil, like they're all kind of in disarray, but I think it's because of like how deep the feelings are. And maybe this person, I don't know. It feels like there's more here is what I'm getting. And I don't feel like this person has kind of crossed the river of truth is just what I heard. They haven't crossed the river of truth. I think for some of these people, they're scared to even be open with themselves about how much they like you because it scared them how much they like you and possibly how quickly. Or for some of you, this had been like a long time in the making, but maybe you were with somebody else for like a long period of time. And so this person was kind of like, well, this is my chance. I don't want to fuck it up. But they also like, they wanted you to like them as much as they liked you. And I feel like you did, or like you were definitely like moving naturally, very naturally in that direction. But this person's weird behavior, I just heard their weird ass behavior. So maybe there's some ass behavior going on here. So like, their behavior was like strange. Maybe they made you feel like a piece of ass, or like that was all it was, because this person, they were doing something shady. And I feel like it definitely involved other people. They were trying to rile up some kind of competition, but it's because that's the way they felt on the inside. They felt like there was competition for you. And they also felt at turmoil and at odds with themselves, with all of this like deep emotion. But I feel like that's what spirit wanted. That is what spirit wanted. And possibly, so this person's like waiting for divine timing. I don't know if they would use the word divine timing, but I feel like they were waiting for divine timing. They were really trying to dial into your signs and synchronicities of like, okay, now you're open. Or, what's really funny, because I feel like there's something here about conversation where like this person was waiting. I think they were waiting for you to talk about it, for you to kind of open up and talk about like your previous relationship. I don't think that you wanted to. I think you had put it behind you, and this person hadn't put it behind them, but you didn't realize that it was a thing that was like weighing on their mind. And I think that a lot of you thought that this person was like an F-boy or an F-girl, and so that emotions would be the last thing on their mind. So there's like, it feels like a chain reaction, and it all got off on the wrong foot because this person was like making certain assumptions about you and where you might be with your energy. And they were trying to match energy that was like never even there. And so you're getting signs and signals from this person, which is why you're not opening up. And so you're trying to match energy. You're like, oh, okay. So, because it feels like this person was just like on the periphery, even though the two of you were interacting in some kind of way. And there was a lot of emotions here on both sides. And I mean like emotions in a, I mean emotions in a neutral sense, but I don't mean that these are not intense emotions, because these are like very intense, very passionate emotions. But what I mean is like, I don't mean just emotions like as a synonym for love. There's emotions here that definitely could have like, it's either love and it confused this person, and they were like, why do I love this person so much? Like, what is this hold that's what I would describe it. It's like this hold, this like there's a depth here. But it also brings up like their insecurity or like, I don't know what to do, because I think this person is serious about you. Maybe they were going through a phase where, I don't know, there's a lot of people here around this person. It could just be that they're insecure. And so they don't know what to do, because you are like the star to this person. You are their wish fulfillment. I think you know that. And I think that's part of why this burned so bad, or why you were like, I don't understand. It's sabotage. Like, why do you have to ruin a good thing is kind of like what's coming through, like you ruined a good thing for both of us, instead of just like I just saw like the Wicked Witch of the West, the Wicked Witch of the West, when she's like, I'm melting, like, because she got a little water on her. And it's like, if it's not going to kill you to open up and just say like, I really like you and I want to move slow because I'm not sure where you're at. Like, I feel like this person, they needed to kind of like initiate this conversation about their emotions, because like I said, I feel like this person at the start of this situation, I feel like this person was actually in their water element. It does feel very schmegulous, it does feel very observant, it does feel very strategic, but it feels emotional. And I feel like you were in some Eight of Wands energy. So maybe, you were ready to move quick. But I don't think it's like with this person. I feel like there's a turn energy here. Like, you were ready to turn a new page is kind of what I'm getting. Or you were ready to send some kind of message. I don't know. Maybe you did send a message. Maybe you did reach out to this person, because I feel you were definitely interacting. And some of you were sleeping together. And maybe you were even like, I don't know, like maybe that's, I feel like there's a lot of confusion about, well, what is this that we're doing? Like, what are we? Because I think I wanted to say that you were an item without being an item. So it's like, I don't know, like, are we girlfriend and boyfriend? Like, are we exclusive? But I feel like this person in that kind of, I feel like I don't know, there's so much intensity here where I feel like the assumptions is maybe what got this, because you probably assumed like, I know that you care for me. Like, so why are you sleeping with other people? And this person is acting out. They're wiling out all over the place. I'm not making an excuse for their behavior. I do feel that some of this was conscious and some of this was like unconscious, but this person kind of always felt, that's what they're circling back to. It's like they always felt that they were kind of the third party, even though it seems like you broke up with somebody here, because they felt like the Knight of Wands, like very sexual energy, possibly like in and out, to like this King of Pentacles, even though I feel like you had broken up with this King of Pentacles, or like maybe they're the King of Cups. So I feel like this is a bit catastrophizing in their head. I mean, if you were in a relationship with somebody, I do feel like there was love there. I feel like there was feelings, but I also feel like you know why you broke up with this person. And I just don't know that this person trusts. And it could be because look at the way this person behaves, they're being strategic. They're maneuvering behind the scenes. They've got other people involved. So when you're sitting there saying like, no, it's just you. I wouldn't do that to you. This person would do that to you. Not necessarily because they want to. I feel like this person's strategic in a way of like defense. Again, I'm not like excusing it. I'm trying to understand where this person's coming from, because they're clearly an emotional person and they have depth here. And I feel like that. Like, I think this is actually a deep person, but maybe they feel like they're not maybe they feel like they're not. Because for some of you, I just heard like period, at the end of that sentence. So maybe they feel like they're not a deep person, but I think they actually are, or it freaks them out because they feel like they're not supposed to be. So it's kind of like defensive. I have this, but with body dysmorphia, where it's like for a long time, I thought that I had like a tomboy kind of look to me, but then during my developmental years, and I was like, oh, that's not really my body type at all, So I feel like that's kind of this person, but like with their personality, where they don't know how to see their personality, but they don't, because I'm kind of bad spatially. They're equating that for me, like how, okay, we all have our strengths and weaknesses, and I'm kind of bad spatially, and like, I'm not terrible. And I feel like that's the same thing with this person. Like, well, I'm not terrible at it, but like, I feel like there's a real kerfuffle in this person's brain, but it is helping them to sort certain things out. And again, I feel like Spirit wanted this kind of inner turmoil, this kind of competition, but also I feel like there's a question mark around this person of like, well, where's my allegiance, or like, who am I supposed to be? Because this person hides, and it doesn't feel entirely disingenuous. It feels defensive, and it feels like kind of protective, where I feel like they sit on the periphery, Again, that word shade is coming up, because it's like this person's in the shadow, okay? But it's not like total shadow. And it's like they're sitting, because I'm picturing like a field, like a park where people are hanging out in the park. They're throwing the frisbee. Some people are sitting on their picnic blankets, eating their crumpets and tea, and this person is just like kind of not, they're afraid to like jump in. They're afraid to be real. They're afraid to be deep. They're afraid to be intimate. But I feel like this person is like very social, like they come across very smooth. I just heard, again, play it strategic, play it smooth. But it feels like it comes from a place of anxiety. And this person has a real depth. And it seems like to me, in this instance, I don't know, I just heard depth is the cure to anxiety. Like for this person to push their roots like a lot deeper, to have like more of that like solid base, more of that solid foundation, so they don't feel as anxious about like getting bowled over by other people's energy or other people's opinions, but they're scared to even start. And I really am having like a lot of sympathy for this person, because I can relate to this kind of feeling. And I feel like you probably can too. And I feel like that's what's so unfortunate about this is there could have been a conversation, and that conversation could have actually been like productive, and it could have gone really deep. And I feel like it could have, I feel like also this person might show you the way that they feel about you with schmegs, but then they also want you to feel like there's competition for them, because they feel like that's how to get your attention and how to keep it, because they feel like they're rivaling. And this feels like it comes from an anxious place. But I don't think that you would maybe get anxious, like looking at this person. You might think that they're like cool, like too cool for school kind of thing. But all of that is like an act to, I just heard to pretense. I also just heard pretense. It's like pretense. So that people just would like never suspect. But I heard there's other ways that you might be able to see that this is anxiety, because this person might like drink a lot to numb out, and to lower their inhibitions and to kind of get themselves in the mix or whatever. So they might not be as social as they think that they are, because they have to kind of lower their inhibitions. It's like this person has kind of crafted themselves into who they think they're supposed to be for acceptance. And that same pattern is playing out here with you. But it's not entirely fake though, because I feel like this person is really deep, and this is like an ambivert kind of energy. But I think they think that they're extroverted, but they're actually not, but they like, cause they do kind of need to recharge. I feel like they have this artsy side, this like very creative kind of melodrama, emo, I paint in my bedroom kind of, energy. Yeah. But they're approaching this like F-boy, but I feel like it's, okay. So wait, I'm hearing a Taylor Swift song. It's like, this is looking like a contest of who can act like they care less, but I liked it better when you were on my side. And this person doesn't understand that. Yeah. Because they kind of made themselves a competitor to you. Yeah. And because it's also like, I don't know, or like somehow too, they introduced an element of competition to their own way they come across, like their own legacy or something. And that might be to you, because this inner turmoil bubbled up into their actions, and their actions are weirdly strategic and defensive at the same time, because strategic to me kind of implies offense, like they're enacting a plan, right? So they can't enact a conversation, but they can enact a plan behind the scenes. Like it's kind of hard to understand here. But I feel like there's like opposites that they need to integrate within themselves, some kind of opposite energy. And it's creating a turmoil in this person. It's creating like this, just like, like whirlwind, hurricane, kind of energy. And it also like ripens them to impulse, because I feel like this person just also wants relief from this, but they don't even know where to talk about it or where to like connect with this and how to do that while saving face at the same time. Because this person's primary concern is like saving face, but then their version of saving face is like offense is the best form of defense. So they go on offense. They decide, oh my gosh, I just heard Julia Roberts from Pretty Woman, when she's like, I choose, like, she's like, I get to say who, like I choose who. It feels like there's maybe like a prostitution of self here. Because and I feel like maybe this person's like desperate for acceptance. This feels on a social level, by the way. And maybe their schmegsual energy is sometimes they use it to, again, save face in that offensive way of like, oh, well, I don't really care about anything, but they could sleep with their friends as a way of like social acceptance. That feels really sad. My goodness. But I feel like you'd have to peel back the layers with this person. And I'm not suggesting that that's something that you should do, like spend your time and energy doing, because this person is really rigid, actually. they're very resistant to dropping their guard, and it's out of pure fear. I just heard phobia. Like this person has like some kind of phobia of really being seen, and of like really going deep because it would hurt. Oh, because I feel like this person, like it would just hurt so bad, like to be rejected. And I feel like this person really does not want to be rejected by you, but then sabotage is what I'm getting. Like they kind of enacted a chain of events that put exactly that into motion because of their fears, because of like their depth. So with you, because I do feel like you're a soulmate, but you're also at a distance and you're healing and you have embraced your difference. And I feel like this person could be learning something about that from you because I feel like this person craves acceptance. But tell me why I'm getting like, oh, I just heard, I got chills, they're multiplying. It feels very Danny Zuko, like in the leather jacket, smoking a cigarette. And he's like, I don't do gym, like making fun of everybody else, which is kind of like a deflection, but it's like from this cool perspective. And maybe like this person surrounds themselves with people like that. I feel like they do have kind of the wrong crowd around them where like, okay, it's giving, oh my gosh, for the Americans, like, oh, well, maybe this isn't an American thing. I don't know. But, so it used back in the day, my friends and I used to go to Walmart whenever they would have their spring like bench sale, like the, what do you call them? Like the porch swings. So they would go on sale and we would go and we would sit in the porch swings and we would just people watch at Walmart. And it's kind of giving me like what this friend group does, but it's like in a mean way. And it's like everywhere they go and just like, oh my gosh, like it just feels like, oh my gosh, like nobody can do anything right around these people and they kind of nitpick. Okay, so they just showed me that version of nitpicking, but then they just showed me Mean Girls, the scene where they're looking in the mirror and they're like, oh my gosh, my pores suck. My nail beds, my breath smells really bad in the morning. Like, that thing where she was like, I used to just think there was fat and skinny, but apparently there's a myriad of things that can be wrong with your body. Like, I feel like that person had that realization on like a social level is what it feels like, being around like the wrong eggs and craving for acceptance. They heard these people kind of pick apart every single demographic. Because now I'm seeing, okay, maybe this is like a high school thing because I'm seeing like in high school, like the different tables in the lunchroom, like, okay, this is your jocks, this is your crazy rich Asians, this is your, like whatever. And I feel like this group that they're around, this person was around was like the loners or whatever. And they had an ego, this group collectively and as individuals had some kind of ego identity around being other, like being alternative. And so they picked apart, I think, every group for some kind of reason. And this person was like, I don't know what to be other than contrarian. I don't know what to be other than like critical, but behind a mask, or just like, oh yeah, totally. Because it feels like that's this person's energy, like, oh yeah, totally. It's kind of like agreeing with it, even though they don't agree with it. And I kind of feel like this person's a puppy. Like, I kind of feel like this person, I'm picturing like, I just picture like a golden retriever in a leather jacket with like sunglasses on, it's like, yeah, totally. Like kind of acting like dark and brooding. But this person really is actually deep. And I actually feel like this person genuinely does want acceptance, but it feels like more than that. It feels like they love everybody, and they want to be loved by everybody. And so tell me why they're in this like weird pattern. And I feel like this somehow played out in regards of you. But like I said, I feel like you're coming up in Aquarian energy, so you could have a lot of friends and you could have a lot of different friends, which may even stand at stark contrast to this person where there's like an irony, there's a deep paradox about like, okay, so you actually do love people, you want to be social, you want to be accepted by people, but yet you just, nobody can wear the right thing or, oh my gosh, like that like person is wearing this or like they're doing that or like, it just feels like they kind of minimize and like cheapen everything, like the people that they're around. But I feel like you don't do that. You like have probably like a lot of friends, but I also feel like there's something about you that's different, but it's also vulnerable to where you don't, it's not that you don't care that you get like picked apart. But I think maybe somewhere along the way you just had to decide to be yourself or something like that, and this person has a lot to learn about that. And I think that this group maybe painted you and people like you, but it's hard to say what people like you actually is. They painted that as like superficial. They painted it as like an aesthetic or something, or they latched on to something about an aesthetic. But I feel like you've changed your aesthetic or something here. because, you know, the woman in the star is like in her full birthday suit, you know? And so there's something about it where it's like, they know that they like you, like you're always you. So it could be that you mix and mingle with like a lot of different groups of people, but you're always you. And this person like really likes that. They think that's pretty rad, but they can't say it. And it's like stirring up a lot of things here because this person just kind of doesn't know the way. But I feel like in a way you're like this person's guiding light, or you're their like guiding star, but I don't know that this person is connected with all that. I think that's like at their core, that's at their depth. You are like, you're the star that's like calling them through the darkness, you know, that's you've healed. And I feel like, or you are different, or there's a certain group of people that like your friends that are maybe better, like for this person, I don't know, to be around. They have healthier social skills kind of thing. So what they do know though, is that they want to reconcile with you, and they want, this person's really passive. They want you to send a message because this person never knows what is quote unquote the right thing to do. But I think what Spirit's trying to teach this person is the right thing is one that is emotionally resonant and it's in alignment with your truth. Like your soulmates are always going to be in alignment with your truth. And so you have to first and foremost. So one of my favorite quotes is that courage is the most important of the virtues because it's upon that virtue that all the other virtues can rest upon. And I feel like this person, that's kind of what I'm getting, is like their story is one of losing touch with their virtues and, or hating themselves or hating their life because, or like depression again, because I know I tell you guys this all the time, but like when I go to therapy, a lot of times they have me do a values exercise because a lot of unhappiness comes from living a life that is not in alignment with your values, not pursuing what your values are like at that moment. You know, if I value honesty and I'm living like this person and I'm keeping it all like bottled up and I'm trying to defend, you know, myself instead of doing that, then I'm going to feel unhappy. It's going to create inner tension. And I feel like that's like what's gone on. This feels like inner and outer tension at this point, where this person is kind of like surrounded themselves, or they live a life not around their soulmates, you know, because they are not living their own self. They're not living from the inside out. They're not living their virtues out loud. And I feel like you'd make an attempt to do that. I'm not saying that you're perfect. I'm also not saying that you go around saying like, I have a virtue of honesty and accountability, and I'm always living that. Like, it's just, you like yourself. You like yourself. You're comfortable with yourself. You can lie your head on the pillow at night, you know, even though you've clearly had kerfuffles with people where things are like confused and you're not sure what you did wrong and, you know, or why you were treated a certain way. But at the end of the day, I think you're proud of your behavior, you know, and the way that you treat people and the kind of people that you're around and, you know, things like that. And so I feel like this person, they want reconciliation, but now Spirit is highlighting that word, reconciliation. There's something they need to reconcile, like within, as within, so without. And I feel like it's this opposites attract, I just heard. So I think maybe they feel like you're opposite. Kind of, again, I'm seeing that like Danny Zuko and Sandra Dee kind of thing, like the good girl and like the bad guy. But I'm not sure he's really such a bad guy, you know? And would that be the end of the world if he's like, I'm sort of like a lover, not a fighter. I don't want to smoke this cigarette. It sort of tastes nasty. I would rather have a bowl of guacamole and a fresh juice. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. You know, like I'd rather just take care of myself and the people around me. Like, when did that become not cool, you know? But I feel like he wants to kind of do that. He likes people. He wants to be more pro-social, because I feel like this cool vibe thing that he seems to be going for, hiding behind, is like, oh, I don't care about anyone or anything, so nobody can ever hurt me, you know? Like, yeah, this is looking like a contest of who can act like they care less. But that's the influence that I feel like he's been around. And I feel like it's served him for a while because he feels skinless. He feels like a sensitive, you know, like a plum without the skin on it, you know? And so I feel like these people, it was a quick fix, you know, being around these people that were like, whatever, I don't care about anything. I'm like so jaded, you know? And like, shout out to the jaded crew. I'm also jaded, but like, you get what I'm saying. It's like, oh, I don't care about anything. When actually I feel like this person cares. Like, they care deeply about things, about stuff. I don't know what stuff, but this person cares deeply. They have opinions. They, you know, they're engaged emotionally, and that's their superpower. And they've actually been blunting it out. And because I said it that way, like, I feel like, again, they live this life where they have to reconcile something within, like who they actually are on the inside. Okay, I just also heard Mulan. When will my reflection show who I am inside? Courage. When you start to have courage to live who you are on the inside. And it's like they've got to kind of fight their way, grow through. Like it's like a little plant that's got to grow up through the sidewalk. They have to grow through this group, this kind of nasty group around them. And I feel like it's a karmic group. I feel like none of these people really belong together. I feel like this is like a defensive cling. This group they're maladaptive is what I'm hearing. And they cling to each other out of like self-defense, but it blunts out. And I feel like there might be drugs here. It blunts out the pain of not being accepted or not knowing how to live your virtues. So you have to just pretend like you don't care about anything, or, I'm not sure, but, they want me to circle back around to feeling like a third party here. This all looks like low self-esteem to me and self-hatred, that they externalize because they hate themselves so much. And they thought that you did too. Like they thought that you were that they weren't good enough for you. And why would you ever like them? But I feel like you liked them. I feel like you do like them. And like what's different, and I feel like probably what's sad is like, I don't care. These people all probably look the same. I feel like there's an irony to that. They dress the same. They look the same and they have to. There's like actually a huge emphasis on conformity while like in this group in terms of aesthetics, but I feel like it's something that weirdly might get projected out onto other people. Or it could be that they know that they all dress the same but it's a form of collectivism. And again, that's a part of like self-defense, makes this person and these other people feel safe when they all kind of do that. But I feel like I forgot where I was going with that, but yeah, they're just wanting to highlight that they felt like they were a third party. Oh, I mean, just because they don't like themselves. And so they projected that out onto you and they judge other people. And like this group does, and it doesn't make sense. Like, I feel like there's a lot of contradictions here in this group and they don't hold themselves to a standard. And so I think all of that just kind of bubbled up and they projected the way they feel about themselves on you. They just assumed that you were going to feel that way. So that's why they played like a bunch of games and like introduced some kind of competition here. It was devil energy and they were trying to focus on how they were seen. And I feel like there might be an irony to that where they judge people who are seen highly or who have status or who have money or who are popular or who wear not the same thing that these people wear. They judge those people as being like, oh, it's just an aesthetic or it's superficial. But I think there's been such a focus on aesthetics, but it's armor is what it feels like. It's armor. It's like trying to protect oneself and trying to align with a group that doesn't really question you, but questions everybody else. And that helps in the short term to take the edge off, but it's just a trap. It's like they're just stuck. So they're saying that they just felt like a booty call, I think. And in so doing, I think they made you feel that way. Or, yeah, because they're saying that they felt less than this like other person. But I don't know if they had reason to. Like, I don't know that you see that your ex is like the King of Pentacles, or like your true love or anything like that. I feel like obviously something went down here for you guys to break up. And this person's so focused on themselves. It's kind of like their anxiety makes them incredibly self-centered, like very self kind of focused, but in a bad way, in like a neurotic way, in a picking themselves apart kind of way. And so they just assumed that you were doing that too, or that you would find them lacking or inadequate. And so they felt like they needed to play some kind of games in order to like stick themselves to you. But actually, I feel like maybe you were the first soulmate that they had been around in a while, because it seems like there's a very karmic energy around this person. Yeah. So all of this, they needed to confront and like connect with their determination here. They needed to build courage. They need to build perseverance. They need to stop being so indecisive, because there's something here like inside of themselves. And maybe it's like they need to stop wanting acceptance from this group that doesn't really accept anybody, but offers them some kind of protection here, they feel like. And they really want you, I think. They want actually that. So this is also jealousy, because I feel like they projected in their assumptions about your relationship with your ex, they projected the things that they wanted with you. They want this Ace of Cups with you, actually. But I feel like, which also like this Ace of Cups energy that I'm picking up on, this, like, it feels like a true love energy, very sweet energy, very peaceful, very loving, very connected, that's of the water element. And remember I was saying like this person was in water energy, but that's a healthy version of that water energy, where instead I feel like I think you were in wands energy, but this person, like, it feels healthy wands, and it feels like needed to turn from this relationship, which is actually what you were doing. But this person was like, yeah, they were thinking that there was competition, and I feel like they got the roles exactly backwards. I feel like they felt like they were looking in on like, or that they were going to like walk in on you being with like your ex or something, and it was going to be like so like lovey and passionate or whatever. But actually I feel like it's the opposite. I feel like your ex was going to like look at you guys being like lovey together and like being happy together and vulnerable, and because this person does have the makings for that, but they don't know what to do with it, you know. And it feels so skinless is like the word. It doesn't feel strong, but it can be strong. Water is the strongest element. So yeah, they felt like a third party, and they are afraid to contact you. They want to tell you how they feel. They are really reminiscing here, and they want your forgiveness. They want your forgiveness. They can't seem to let go of this cycle. They feel like they do have this timing thing, this obsession with timing, which is just blocking what they should be focused on, which is courage. It wasn't timing that fucked this up here, because Spirit knew that the timing was right. This person kind of needed a kick in the ass. They needed some level of competition. Their focus on timing is incorrect. They need to focus on courage. Their lack of courage is what ruined things between the two of you, and not anything to do with timing. The timing was right. This person needed to come up through this kind of competitive energy. Yeah, I left you before you could leave me. And they left you through self-sabotage. And I feel like they left you through this group. But they want you to know that they love you, and that they are kind of working on getting back to you in some way. But Spirit is holding this person off because they do have a devil energy here, where they go for the short fixes. And I'm kind of picturing somebody smoking here, like puffing off of a cigarette, and like this defensive action. They can't be in a defensive state where they feel on the back foot, because that's how they ruin things. And y'all have already been through that. And I feel like you have moved away and you're healing. And so for this person to get back in your energy, they need to not be, their priority in that situation was self-preservation and defense, playing defense. They need to have courage they have emotions for you. I feel like you know that. And that's what you wanted. That's what you were like, yeah, I think this is my person. Like, you could sense that, I think. But they need to have the courage to bring it out. I feel like that's also something this person, for some of you, you're like psychic, or you're just empathic, like you're very emotionally. I think that you sensed that this person had emotions. It's not a surprise when this person's like going to say it. I think that, you know, it's just, I don't know. It just feels like something that they need to be able to do, is to say like, I feel this way about you, you know, and not do weird shit here. But I can see here that you are afraid that, you know, that you're this person's wish fulfillment, but you have stability in your life and confidence. You have a kind of, they're intertwined. You have a kind of security and stability in your life that comes from self-love and self-confidence. It comes from that solar plexus chakra of like knowing exactly who you are. And you've already done this work of reconciling this opposites energy of like, well, I guess, I mean, clearly this group kind of clowns on you or something, but they clown on everybody. So you're in good company. You're in like the only company. I feel like you either conform with this group, or like, and it feels aesthetically like you have to dress a certain way, and you have to like talk with a vocal fry, and like, you know, it feels like that. Or at least like that's the energy of it. But you have a kind of confidence that's like, I will be what I want. I will like what I want. It can be in style. It can be not in style. I'm not really, you're the ones that are so concerned about image, and you try to, you know, place yourselves as counter to that in order to form your identity. But the obsession lies with you, and it doesn't lie with me. I do feel like you think that there's been some lies here. But you've chosen yourself, and so you've removed yourself, and you feel like this person could maybe cause there to be instability in your stability. But again, I feel like your stability comes from knowing who you are, your selfhood, and your confidence. And this person needs to match that energy. They need to match that energy. They need to be able to hold their own, so that the two of you can have a stable foundation and build on that together. Because this person, no matter how much they love you, and no matter how much you're a wish fulfillment, and all the potential that is there in this person and between the two of you, they have to they have to deal with themselves. They have to wrangle themselves. They have to sort themselves from the inside out. They have some reconciliation work to do inside of themselves. And it's with their lower natures. But this person's lower natures is, I hate myself. I'm a deep person, but I can't accept that. And I don't know how to nurture that. And I'm around people who will never accept that. And they also run off all my soulmates, because we're all in defense mode. And so we can never make connections outside of this group that is just entirely defensive. And because it's defensive, it's very controlling, because it's any little person is considered a threat, by the people around this person and maybe by this person themselves. And so they just kind of go along with it. That also may have really, because you were in Wands energy, you think this person's hot. You were down for this. But that really might have doused your fire. The weakness, I go along with this crowd. And I kind of feel like there's a woman here in this group, and you notice this man is under her thumb or takes marching orders from this woman, and it's not giving, man. It's not. So I think that you're just kind of no. No. So, okay, that's what I have. They really want you to know, though, that they felt like a third party in this situation. Even if the two of you were dating, it feels like it would be at the beginning, though, or it was in that weird gray area of what are we? You guys could have been sleeping together. You were definitely interacting, and there was a lot of depth, and there was a lot of emotion, and you probably felt that. If you guys were sleeping together, you probably felt that, and I feel like that was maybe the one place where this person felt like they could express that to you, but it was under the cover of darkness, or under the covers, it's oh, it's just schmags. What are you talking about? But you'd be you love me, because it feels like they're trying to, it's leaking out of them, in some kind of way. So this person would like to reconcile, but they got to get themselves under control. Spirit's pretty firm about that, because you have already healed from this situation. And I feel like this would be the kind of situation where you're I can't go through that again. I can't heal from that situation again, because there is such a deep connection here that this person is all loosey-goosey with. So, okay, that's what I have for you. If that resonates, please comment and subscribe to my channel. Bye.